I've been slightly delayed by some technical difficulties, but I am here now, and hopefully some people show up soon. But in the meantime, I'll just keep talking as often as I can. I just wanted to go live to just sort of talk about whatever. We'll just see what happens. And I'm, of course, going to tweet that I'm live while I wait for people to get here. Twitter almost looks different right now. I don't know why. I'm live. What should I tweet? What should I tweet for the stream? I'm live talking about anything. So tonight's an interesting sort of night, I suppose. We're halfway through October. It's getting really spooky, getting closer and closer to Halloween. I'm live talking about whatever. We'll just put that. youtube.com/poetic-heretic90. I'm live talking about whatever. Okay, cool. Hello, lone lurker, Ryan. So nice of you to join us. Or me. Still waiting for more people to show up, I guess. So, this has been tweeted. I'm live talking about whatever. This is true. I mean, I don't think I'm a ghost. I don't know about you. Oh, good. I think I'm alive too, although tonight I do feel a little bit dead. But yeah, I just wanted to go live and not really have a plan tonight, but instead to just kind of see where it goes, just kind of discuss things, like see who all shows up and what topics come up. I feel a little bit out of it, but I've got my V8 Fusion energy drink. That should be helpful. So how are you doing, Ryan? How are you on this nice October night? Let's see, what else can we talk about? I know the thumbnail says October 16th, and it's officially October 17th, but, you know, whatever. Most people still think of this as October 16th. So what else can we talk about while we're waiting? Oh, wait, I'm getting notifications on my phone. We can talk about that. Wait, what? Taking Sunday, cleaned out the interior of my car, got some groceries, and bought some DVDs from the thrift store. That sounds like a very productive day. That sounds quite good. Some DVDs. What DVDs did you get? Wait, what? It's 12 a.m. and Johnny, you weren't even here for the MySpace days. Fake MySpace scene kid. It's funny. Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen any of those. But I haven't seen as many movies as I probably should have, or I probably should, especially with my interest in home theater. Are we blurry? I can't even tell sometimes. Okay. So we have tonight, the moon is still in Capricorn. I'm not going to talk about astrology for the entire stream, but the moon is still in Capricorn, and it moves into Aquarius in the morning. I might like Stardust. Why is that? In fact, I have a list of things here, a list of upcoming astrological events, as I always do. The very next one for me, or actually no, this one just happened, I forgot about it. At 12:08 a.m., the moon half-squared my natal Mars, which could make me prone to anger tonight. But I think I feel a little too calm to get sucked into that. But I mean, hey, we'll see what happens, you know. I woke up early today. I had a lot of like resistant thoughts, but I was able to clear them up, fortunately, by making my daily list of positive aspects. So that was fun. Just a fun adventure movie from 2007. Well, let me look it up while we are live. I'll try to open this in a new window. Yeah, I'm beginning to suspect that the live streams that I enjoy the most are kind of like the ones like the first one I did, where it's more open-ended. I'm not sure if I enjoy having a plan yet or not. Okay, that sounds cool. Yes. And in the meantime, I'm going to look up that movie. It's Stardust 2007. Blu-ray.com review. Well, it has a video score of 3.8 out of 5. It has an audio score of 4.5 out of 5. The video is MPEG-4 AVC, 30.06 megabytes per second, resolution 1080p, aspect ratio 2.4 to 1, original aspect ratio 2.39 to 1. The audio is DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. It's also available in French, German, Italian, and Spanish, all in Dolby Digital 5.1. You know, I think I figured it out. For anyone who may be watching now or who may watch this like when it saves or whatever, if I keep it up on my channel, I think I figured it out. Talking about movies on these streams would be like the perfect material that can then sort of provide an impetus for who knows what other kinds of conversations. It's the perfect solution because I don't always know what to talk about. Let's see here. In the sleepy English village of Wall, young Tristan Thorne promises the prettiest girl in town that he will bring her back, a fallen star. Now Tristan must cross a wall between the village and a mysterious kingdom lit by unending magic and unfolding legends of which he will quickly become a part. Interesting. Adventure, fantasy, family, romance, coming of age. Coming of age, it's not that old. Let's see, let's look at the video quality for Stardust Blu-ray. Stardust falls onto Blu-ray with a handum? I think that's supposed to be handsome. But whatever. Handsome and sturdy, but not jaw-dropping 1080p transfer. It's hard to find a glaring weakness in the image, even if at times blacks become a bit too absorbing. Colors tend towards the warm end of the spectrum. Noise flutters around the background. A few elements go a bit too soft, and some scenes take on something of an unnatural digital sheen. Fascinating. By the way, if you guys want to comment anything at all, feel free. This is just kind of a free-for-all stream, you know, it's like whatever. Seriously, that made us blurry. Seriously? Seriously? Okay. Now, generally though, Paramount's transfer captures a nicely filmic image. Stardust's depth of field is impressive. It retains a layer of film grain, and it never appears riddled with unsightly debris or print damage. Detailing is moderately strong across the board as seen in woven clothing, the texturing of skin, and a pebbly dirt road. Pebbly, that's a weird word. Oh, welcome back, Chris. And I think all the symbolism of Stardust may interest you. Oh, okay. What kind of symbolism? Or would that be giving too much away? Let's see. Detailing is moderately strong across the board as seen in woven clothing, the texturing of skin, and a pebbly dirt road, among other elements seen throughout the film. Colors are strong, appearing vibrant but neutral during bright daytime scenes and more subdued but still natural and pleasant when lit only by candle, campfire, or moonlight. The 1080p transfer brings out a few warts in the special effects, notably in Captain Shakespeare's flying pirate ship, but the benefits of the high-definition presentation far outweigh any such negatives. Fans should be pleased with Paramount's effort on Stardust, but it's not quite up to the same level of excellence as the studio's best efforts. Interesting. I may have to see if my local movie rental place has it, and I can go get it. So let's see. I feel like I was gonna say something else. What the hell was it? Oh yeah, like I just kind of, I mean, if it's not obvious already, I just kind of wanted to come on here and hang out for this stream. Like I didn't really want to have like a plan or whatever. I just want to hang out with you guys and see what happens. So that's my intention. Moving on to the Blu-ray with a high-quality DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 lossless soundtrack. There's little to this track at first. Surround effects are minimal and music doesn't play with much vigor, but as the adventure gains steam, so too does the soundtrack. The score plays as incredibly large and spacious, even without an aggressive back-channel support element. Bass is oftentimes heavy and potent, but not lacking in precision. Shakespeare's ship rumbles through the soundstage with plenty of heft in tow. The track does capture some distinctive surround elements that are delivered with pinpoint placement and help open up the soundstage to capture the sheer magnitude of the picture's scope and sense of adventure. The final action sequence is demo-worthy all the way. Ooh, now I really have to see this. Combining all of the track's positives into one extended listen that's sure to please both the most ardent Stardust fan and the most demanding audiophile alike. Rounded out by clean, precise, and center-focused dialogue, Paramount Stardust soundtrack is a worthy companion to a grand fantasy/adventure fairy tale. Cool. I've got to check that out now. I absolutely love when a movie has a high-quality soundtrack to it. It's just the best thing ever. It's absolutely delicious. I watched the new Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom on Blu-ray recently, and in addition to having delicious video quality, it had some very nice audio quality indeed. I think probably a step up from the first Jurassic World. And so someone left because apparently this is boring. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. Thank you for being here. Regardless, but yeah, it was really delightful. I didn't see it in theaters. It's a little bit difficult to do around here. So I rented the Blu-ray and watched it. Even bought the Goosebumps movie soundtrack. I haven't heard that. Is that another one I should look up? I also watched 2012 on Blu-ray recently, and that was crazy in surround sound. Like, I've watched not like a lot of movies in surround sound, but quite a few by now, and 2012 was definitely one of the most intense movies I've ever watched. I suppose movies, I was playing that my VCR back in 1996. Guess what happened? My VCR just blanked out for no reason. Strange. Ooh, that is strange. So, wait. Okay, well, I'm gonna look up Goosebumps and see what comes up. It's Goosebumps 2015. Oh my, available in Dolby Atmos. It's probably one of the first ones available in that. The video quality is a 4.2 out of 5. The audio is a 4.5 out of 5. And for those who don't have Dolby Atmos, like me, unfortunately, it's also available in Dolby True HD 7.1. And then it's available in French, then it says Canada in parentheses, DTS HD Master Audio 5.1, and Spanish Dolby Digital 5.1. Video quality, or the video is MPEG 4 AVC, resolution 1080p, aspect ratio 2.39 to 1, original aspect ratio 2.39 to 1. And it says family, fantasy, comedy, adventure, horror. Interesting. I used to watch that on TV when I was a kid, like this show, I think. Or is that what? I can't even remember what it was. Was it a show, or what was it? Oh, that is very strange, Chris. Wow. Almost like something paranormal was going on. Some strange frequencies tapped into by watching something of that vibration. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I read some of the books when I was a little kid. I was always reading when I was a kid. And then for a long time I kind of fell out of it. And then in recent years, well, I've been kind of off and on, but like in the past like almost 2 years now I've been like hardcore reading. Like hardly a day ever goes by that I don't read, or at least spend some time reading, I guess, especially these days now that I can do it with my text-to-speech app I mentioned in a previous live stream, where I can basically just read by listening to books basically every day while getting ready for the day, and that's quite effective. Now in 2018, the second movie is out. Interesting. Let's see. All right. Goosebumps video quality. Goosebumps isn't the most robust Blu-ray in the wild. In the wild. Is that supposed to be in the world? In the wild. What other Blu-rays are in the wild? That's what I want to know. But its largely flat, digitally sourced 1080p transfer gets the job done. The movie sees a fairly even split between well-lit sequences and dark nighttime exteriors. The former, unsurprisingly, offers richer visible detailing, showcasing strong overall clarity and, while not razor-sharp definition, clearly visible intricacies on skin, clothes, surfaces in the school, or items in a grocery store that plays central to one adventurous sequence later in the movie. Darker exteriors enjoy adequately deep and even black levels. And while raw detail or at all less, the transfer's overbearing flatness leaves such segments feeling fairly inorganic. Colors dazzle in the daytime. The opening overhead flyovers reveal sparkling greens. That same grocery store interior springs to life with a veritable rainbow of colors, while lower light interiors find enough accentuating colors to please. Light banding and noise occasionally creep into view, but the image is otherwise free of unwanted distractions. Cool. Unlike my living situation. I don't know if that was a good joke or not, but whatever. Actually, it's not a joke, it's true. Anyway. Ghost in the Darkness must be a Blu-ray in the wild. I think that's the funniest thing ever. Blu-ray in the wild. Like, what? I remember when I was in school, the year was 1983, I was a little kid and all the power went out in the school for 20 seconds, absolutely for no reason. Unexplained power blacked out at school. Ooh, that would be freaky. That would be like freaky but thrilling. Like, I would enjoy something like that personally. I remember, like, now there's like a bunch of different things I want to say that are coming to mind. First of all, remind me if I forget that we should talk about what kinds of movies we all like, because I have some interesting opinions on that. Second of all, one time when I was in, like, I don't know, 11th grade or something, like, the power went out at my school temporarily, I think for like, I don't know, a couple of hours or something. And I was between classes and I was walking by my old, like, science room or biology room. Like my biology teacher from the previous year was standing outside of his room basically. And I just heard him say something to someone regarding the power outage. I don't know why this is so funny to me, but he was just like, it's a temporary inconvenience. And there's just something about the way he said it, because it was almost like he always had like a thing to say about every little thing, and it sounded so typical. It was like, oh yeah, that's that's my typical biology teacher from last year there. It's a temporary inconvenience. And I've never forgotten that for some reason. And actually, anytime that I'm like feeling annoyed by something, I'll even say that to myself. Actually, that's how much it stuck with me. I'll be like, it's a temporary inconvenience. So again, maybe it's just me, but I found that freaking hilarious that just as I happened to be walking by, he was saying that. Like, it's like, oh yeah, there he goes. He always has something to say about all of these anomalous events. I don't know why, it's just so funny to me. Whoever writes these Blu-ray reviews must be looking at them like paintings in a modern art museum. Yeah, I know, right? I really enjoy I really enjoy the descriptive details that they give. It's very, very amusing, I must say. And speaking of which, now let's go over the audio quality of this Goosebumps movie. Goosebumps features a Dolby Atmos Core Dolby True HD 7.1 hearing reviewed soundtrack that performs very well when things go bump in the night, and elsewhere too. Music enjoys a wide open stage placement, favoring the fronts but wrapping back around to the rears as well. Instrumental clarity shines and LFE effects are tight and effortlessly supportive. The track features plenty of exciting multi-directional effects and speaker-specific sound placement that helps sonically shape the various bits of uncontrolled chaos that presents through the movie's second and third acts. Not all of them truly test the limits of the subwoofer's depth or the 7.1 track's reach, but there's enough detail and definition to go along with the placement to immerse the listener in Madison's night of mayhem. In the school, PA announcements and microphone reverberation are full and filling through to the back, and general external atmospherics beyond the monster-induced chaos prove gently immersive. Dialogue delivery is hearty and center-focused. Cool. So, let me think here. That does sound like it could be a fairly delicious Blu-ray to enjoy. I really like Bus Escape. They are here in the track camcorder. Cool. Well, maybe I will hear them at some point. Maybe I'll check this out. But yeah, I definitely enjoy the descriptive details that they give on Blu-ray.com. It's very delightful to me. But so yeah, that's right. I was going to talk about. I was going to be like, well, I was going to first of all ask you guys to be like, what kind of movies do you like in general? Like, type it in the chat if you want to. What some of your favorite like genres are, and like specific movies if you want. I'll tell you with me. These days I like action adventure the most, and I can enjoy the occasional comedy, and I like some horror movies, but unfortunately most horror movies these days I do not really find myself enjoying very much, and that's like one of the main issues I have with movies anymore, is that I don't know. As much as I want to like horror movies because I like scary stuff, so many of them just feel so dumb to me, and I feel like, I don't know, like they're written for people who, I feel like they're written for people whose brains aren't fully developed or something. And I'm not trying to like be mean or anything or to say that like people are dumb or whatever. I literally feel like most horror movies, or at least a lot of them in modern times, I don't know, it's like even going for anything other than just cheap like jump scares, and that's the most boring thing in the world to me. I like psychological horror, and I feel like no one's really interested in that anymore. But maybe it's a reflection of like the culture or something at this point, which is a bit sad, but whatever. I mean, there's always the hope that it will improve. Action, adventure, romance, sci-fi, thrillers, crime dramas, anything to do with animation. Oh wow, that's a lot. Yeah, that's cool. You agree with the horror thing? Yeah. Like, it's not even that I would say that I like old horror movies. Like, it's not even that. I mean, I like some of them, and it's not like I'm saying like, oh, I like classic horror, I like this or that or whatever. It's just that there aren't that many good ones, in my opinion, unfortunately. My opinion anyway, that I've seen were the Saw movies. Though I haven't seen the new one, which I've been meaning to see that. I've been meaning to rent that. So I don't know. I can't give my opinion on that because I haven't seen it. But the other Saw ones, like, sure, they weren't perfect. Maybe they weren't like magnificent, but at least they were doing something different, you know? Like they weren't doing like the same old shit or whatever. Also, Rob Zombie's The Lords of Salem that came out in like 2013 or something. That was quite good in my opinion. That had like a sort of unsettling psychological component to it. And I guess also, well, I have to admit, some people, I think some people have different opinions about this, but whatever, or varied opinions. But the movie The Ring from like 2001 or something, um, that is a good example of what I'm talking about in terms of what I would consider like a more authentic horror movie. And I mean, sure, there might be some stuff in it that's a bit like cheesy or whatever, but for the most part, that's like a good like psychological horror movie that actually has like a deeper message and deeper meaning to it. And thus, therefore, I really like it in movies like that. And of course, maybe it's just me, but I see a lot of depth to the Silent Hill movie that came out in 2006. Definitely one of my favorite movies. I've watched it, I don't even know how many times. Um, which is funny. Some people say that Silent Hill is like shallow. I have the exact opposite opinion. There's a huge amount of symbolism and meaning in that movie, at least that I have found. The sequel, however, was terrible, basically put. They sort of threw out everything that made the first Silent Hill great and just tried to make up for that with special effects and stuff like that, which admittedly, the first time I watched it, or the first maybe couple times I watched it, it was enjoyable and maybe even like amazing. But once you kind of get over that high from the special effects or whatever, and you realize that you're just looking at like this hollow movie, then it's no longer that exciting, basically, is what I'm saying about that. So let's see. Yeah, Saw is kind of average, I will admit. It's just that like the way I would rate it is like Saw is average, but in comparison to most horror movies, how bad they are, like they make Saw look great. It's like most horror movies are so shitty that by comparison, Saw looks like a masterpiece. Although overall, like it is true, it is just kind of average. But you know, at least I enjoyed those movies. Um, except for the last one. Do you mean like the last one in the original ones, or like the most recent one? I feel like there was something else I was going to say about all that, though. Let's see. It was about Silent Hill or something. I don't remember, but maybe it'll come to me. I'd like to do a video one day, though, analyzing the symbolism of Silent Hill. I would absolutely freaking love to do that because there is so much to be said about that movie. I mean, oh my God, there is so much. But if I do in fact do that, I want to wait until I have a more powerful computer with like better video editing software so I can do it really well. Because if I'm going to do something like that, I want it to be really well done. But like, one of the things though about Silent Hill, and in case you guys haven't seen it, I won't reveal too much, but I'll just say it's a very interesting study in negative beliefs. That is one of the most interesting things about it to me. It's a very interesting study in the power of negative beliefs. I'll just say that. Let's see here. I do like this Norwegian slasher movie, Filter, Cold Prey in English. Being Canadian and a snowboarder, I found the setting of being trapped in the mountains to be intense. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen that. You know what happened a few hours ago? Did you know YouTube had went down for about 30 minutes to an hour? I was watching YouTube outage all around the world for 1 hour today. Yeah, I noticed that actually. Conveniently for me, it happened right before I was about to get ready for the night, basically, because I woke up really late again. And I just finished watching a video, and I tried to load the YouTube watch page again or something like that, and I noticed it wasn't working, and I was like, oh, what happened? And then I actually tweeted about it. I was like, I hope YouTube comes back in time for me to stream later. Yeah, I see you guys, like, this is what I'm talking about, though. This is what I had in mind for this stream. Like, I just kind of wanted to go live and not really have a plan, but just like let it naturally develop and just kind of hang out, because I'm finding, I don't know, I almost think this is maybe what I enjoy the most, just kind of going with the flow, but I'm not sure yet because I'm still fairly new to live streaming. But so far, yeah, this is like what I'm really, I don't know, this is what I'm enjoying the most so far, I think, because like there's no pressure when you're just going with the flow. However, I will say that on other days when maybe I have more energy and I have like a really good idea that I'm excited about, then I still think I'm definitely going to do streams where I have a specific idea, specific theme, and I will present that and we'll like talk about that the whole stream, maybe other things too, but you know, so I'll still do stuff like that. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. I thought my network was down. Thankfully it's not. First world problems though. I know, right? Yeah, I was like, oh wow, I'm not used to seeing YouTube go down, you know, one of my favorite places. So I'm glad that it didn't stay down for long. I wonder what happened though. I wonder like were they under attack? Was there some like, you know, what do they call those DNS overload things, or I don't know, it's not coming to me right now. There's like a term for it. I can't think of it. I've been more successful than you. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I can understand the pressure of like, you know, like hoping that people watch and like trying to come up with stuff that's like entertaining. So yeah, it's, I don't know. Well, I mean, before just recently, I didn't think I would be one to do this at all. Like this is the kind of thing that would have terrified me before, like for years, and like before just recently. And I think really it was just it's probably a combination of getting more in touch with my beliefs and like following my excitement and sort of purifying my vibration more and more and releasing resistance that even got me into a state of mind and being where I like could even like want to do something like this, that I could even like feel compatible with it and relatively comfortable with it. Though I still get a tiny bit nervous, sometimes more than others, usually like right before I'm about to begin, then I just kind of relax as I go. But yeah, like this, it's just so weird because I didn't think that I was going to be one to do live streams, like probably not ever, or if I was, like not for a very long time. So I don't know. And I'm kind of surprised I'm even getting away with it with this old webcam. But it works surprisingly well for what it is, I think, fortunately. Let's see. And it literally goes blurry right as I say that. I love it. You went live less than 5 times. Yeah, it's understandable. Like, I mean, I'm already the kind of person that I'm not going to do something unless it excites me. I'm not going to do something unless I really want to, unless it feels good to me, unless it's exciting to me, if that isn't already obvious. Except for the things I have to do, you know, like take care of my chores or whatever, you know, things that you have to do every day, like eat and sleep and brush your teeth and shower and all this crap. But then like all the time I have left over, I spend it doing only what excites me and what excites me the most. And I'm finding that streaming like this definitely is one of the most exciting things to me at this time. Thank goodness YouTube is back online now. I can enjoy watching your show. I'm so glad we're good friends. I am very glad that we are good friends as well, and I'm very glad that you're watching, and thank you so much. I heard this guy saying an asteroid is about to hit the moon about around Halloween, something like that. Then YouTube went down, asteroid heading for the moon. Huh. That's kind of freaky. It's interesting, like, how many doomsday predictions there have been over the years, though. Fortunately, I guess none of them ever really seemed to come true. But I don't know, it's fascinating stuff. Seems there's always someone like who's sort of foretelling doom. Like, what do you guys think about that? What's your opinion on that? all these like doomsayers and shit. Like that's an interesting subject. Are we gonna not be blur anymore? Wait, maybe I should just like adjust this downward maybe. Okay. Live playback isn't working on your 2DS. Damn. I know, right? The world was supposed to end so many times by now. It's like I can't even take stuff like that seriously anymore. Not that I ever really did before. Though I used to take some things seriously that in retrospect I probably never should have because it never really panned out or whatever. But yeah, live playback. See, for that I've got my computer, I've got my phone, I've got my tablet, and I've got my Xbox 360 that can then play on my ancient TV. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it's kind of okay, this is kind of crazy. Speaking of like movies and TV and stuff like that, well, this is like sort of related, but sort of not. So I have this ancient TV from 2005, and it's both one of the old tube TVs, so it's freaking huge and it weighs a lot, but it's also one of the first high definition TVs that I guess came out, or at least it was in that sort of early era. And it's 1080i, not 1080p, so it's almost as good as 1080p for those of you who aren't familiar with that. And like indeed, I would have a better TV by now if I could afford it. But here's the thing with me, like I'm not gonna invest in a new TV. Like I'm not gonna spend all that money unless basically I can afford a really, really, really good one. You know, like it's gonna have to at least be say 40 inches 1080p, like bare minimum. Like if I ever had the money for that. Because just the way I think about stuff like that, I think, well, this is something that I'm going to use for who knows how many years to come. So if I'm going to invest money in it, then it might as well be a really good one. Adding on to that, like my current one, even though it's 1080i and from 2005, like you wouldn't believe how good it can still look as long as the source material is still of high quality. Like as the how should I say this, as the quality in filming has like improved and like camera quality has improved over the years in both movies and TV shows, I can still tell a difference on my 1080i TV from 2005 just as much as I'm sure that anyone could with a modern TV, or at least to a significant extent, maybe not quite just as much difference. And furthermore, with that, is so weird to me that like in 2005, you know, YouTube was hardly even known yet. Like YouTube had just come into existence, and I'm pretty sure Netflix didn't exist yet, though I'm not 100% sure about that. Maybe it did, maybe it's in the early stages. But like all these apps and stuff we use today didn't exist. You know, smart TVs definitely did not exist. Those are not a thing. But it's so interesting to me that because of the technology built into my Xbox 360, that I can take an ancient 1080i TV from 2000, move it into the modern era. You know what I mean? Like because of my Xbox 360, being able to access apps on it like YouTube and Netflix and stuff like that, and streaming video via Wi-Fi, that it's like even though my TV itself is from an era where those things didn't even exist, basically speaking, I'm able to bring it into the modern era and you know, enjoy that in that way. And it's also interesting because at least this stuff is interesting to me anyway. Like Hopefully people aren't like, what the hell is he talking about right now? But um, at the time that I got it, what was most commonly used, at least for me personally, were like the old like RCA ports and like something called VI, which was using more RCA plugs to get a better picture. And then it also has HDMI, but like for the longest time, using its HDMI port was completely unheard of to me. But it's like now in the modern era, everything pretty much is HDMI, and that's the only thing I use. And so it's almost like it was future ready in a way, and I have been able to bring it into the modern era, and only use that HDMI port. And I even have a switcher that automatically switches the HDMI signal from like my Blu-ray player to my Xbox 360 and vice versa whenever I, use either one of those. So I don't know, like, I don't know if all this is just way too nerdy and people are like, what the hell are you talking about? Is this like, how are you even interested in this stuff? Like, what are you even, what are you on right now? Or what? I don't know what I'm saying. But to me personally, I find it quite interesting. I find it delicious and delightful, actually, that I'm able to bring my ancient TV into the modern era using modern technology. I don't know. I love it. I think it's really cool. All right. So what are you guys talking about? Still using HD CRT TV. Interesting. No, it's not a Sony Wegma. It's I think it's a Philips 30-inch TV, if I'm not mistaken. Which is weird. I'm like so interested in all this, but I don't even have my TV brand memorized. Like I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff, weirdly enough. But I think it's a Philips, and it's definitely a 30-inch TV, 1080i. The Oddity Archive. What's that about? Let's see. Wait. Asteroid heading for the moon. Doomsayers. I don't know about them. Usually, those doomsayers are usually wrong. Maybe there is another reason why YouTube went down. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's people out there who believe that the moon is basically broadcasting frequencies that intercept human perception here on Earth and cause us to live in like a sort of fake dream world reality, like in the Matrix or something, or like an overlay to like prevent us from seeing things as they are. Now, I don't believe that, but it's just interesting that it's not even so much that it's an interesting theory as it is interesting that there are people who believe in that theory. But, whatever. So what else should we talk about? I wonder if there's anything else I should look up here. Let's load the YouTube watch page, see what's popping on there. Small YouTube channel where a guy goes into the histories of outdated technology, like the old channel Scrambler boxes and things. Maybe that would be interesting. Here, I'll pull that up right now and just take a look at it. A Zen-like quality to it. That's always enjoyable. Huh. The first thing that popped up was Laser Karaoke Volume 6, Repeat Offenders. More 8 frames per second at 1800 revolutions per minute in this. Huh. Interesting. Well, maybe I will check that out. Thank you for telling me about that. I feel like there's something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, like having a Zen-like quality to it. I find that I love content like that, like anything that's like relaxing and very peaceful. I just enjoy that a lot. Sometimes I wonder if anyone finds like any of the content that I make like that. maybe like sometimes I don't know. I can I can easily oscillate from being in a very calm, uh, very little motion and movement sort of mood to being in a much more like enthusiastic sort of mood. And I think it's because if you look at my astrology, I've got a lot of stuff in Capricorn, basically speaking, as well as my fourth house. My fourth house is mainly uh, where the sign of Capricorn is, and yet I have Mars in my third house in Sagittarius, and so a third house Mars is going to be someone who's very um, enthusiastic about communication. The third house corresponds to Gemini, which you, Ryan, might find interesting. It corresponds to the sign of Gemini. And so, like, when it comes to communication and even information and communicating information, I can have a lot of enthusiasm about that, basically speaking. Smaller, low quality YouTubers. I should probably just skips the video, such an intimate, easy listening type of vibe to me. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Like, this is like a huge subject for me in a way because when it comes to what I like the most on YouTube and out of YouTubers and stuff like that, really don't like stuff that is so overly polished that it almost feels fake, and stuff that in fact is fake is even worse. Like there's so much fakery on YouTube, unfortunately, especially with the most popular channels, that it is ridiculous. Like it's very disturbing to me. Like I've had to hold my tongue before because I've watched certain YouTubers and I know for a fact that they're faking shit. Like I know for a fact because I've learned how to develop my intuition about such things, but it's not just my intuition that's telling me about it. There are logical inconsistencies that make it obvious that they're faking things. And if that, even if all that failed, I've got my tarot cards that I can ask at any time, like, who's faking stuff. But in addition to that, though, you see, my mind doesn't work the way most other people's minds do, I don't think, when it comes to viewing content in particular, because a lot of people, it seems that most people gravitate towards those who sort of do all the right things on YouTube to try to like get the most attention, get the most views and watch time and clicks and all that. But for me, the only content that I really want to watch for the most part, and I say for the most part because there are exceptions, or maybe the better way to say it is the type of content that I gravitate to most is that which has, no, not just that which has an authentic feel, but that which is authentic, like YouTubers or social media people or whatever who are authentic, or at least as far as I can tell, are authentic and who are the most real are the ones that I like to watch the most. And that's probably why I have a very limited number of people that I enjoy watching on YouTube, if I'm being honest. Like I get so turned off by fakery. I get so turned off by this idea of trying to turn YouTube into a game where you say like, how can I get the most views and shit like that? And like, I get so turned off by people like faking their personalities and stuff like that. That I almost don't know how people fall for stuff like that. And, but whatever. All I know is I am very much drawn to those who are real and authentic, and I'm not really interested in all the fakery, basically, which seems to be the opposite of what normally happens on YouTube. So go figure. My old webcam is a perfect example. Yeah, that's true. It's almost like in a way, it's almost like it's perfectly flawed or something, as OTEP would say. It's like it's like um, the whole imperfection with it is what makes it what it is. Though that said, I would love to have a much higher quality webcam if I could, you know. Um, yeah, all that stuff. I mean, if I could afford all that, like, I mean, I won't say that I wouldn't try it out, at least to see what it would be like, and I might even decide to stick with it, if I'm being honest, but at the same time, like, I don't know. It's kind of like I was saying earlier, like, I just want to go live just to kind of hang out with you guys and see what develops and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to turn going live into some big, huge thing, you know? Like, I just want it to be natural and easy and relaxed and stuff like that. And on that note, uh, without not taking this too seriously or whatever, I have to use the bathroom. So I will be back very soon. All right, you guys, I'm back. I've returned. Blue Yeti microphone with reverb and background music. Oh yeah, like a high quality microphone that everyone loves to use. I mean, if I could afford it, I might, but like I said, I don't want to turn going live into some big huge thing. But I'm gonna look at my phone real quick because it's flashing. Twitter notifying me of more stuff. Twitter is one of the few social networks that I really, really like. Oh, that's what happened. Johnny Gilbert tweeted recently, YouTube's down, let's all go back to MySpace. I agree. So how are you guys? How was your day? What mood have you been in? Let's talk about the mood of tonight. I feel like this is too low, maybe. Let's see here. What can we talk about now? We can talk about how much better MySpace was than almost any other social network. No, I don't know. I'm just gonna chill out here for a bit and see if you guys leave any comments. It's like, enough about me. Let's talk about you. It's currently 5 degrees Celsius here, which I think it was last night, maybe. It's getting very cold. We'll soon be in Scorpio season. We've only got a few days left of Libra season. You're off to bed. I hope you have a good rest of your stream. I'll be up by 4 a.m. for work. Had a good night. Enjoy the talk. MySpace, where you were just a few clicks away from an emo kids poorly. I think your message got cut off. But all right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and hope you have a good night as well. Get well rested. And indeed, MySpace is where all the emo kids were. Though I only knew so many on there, or I only encountered so many on there, I guess I should say. An emo kid's poorly coded home profile page with moving text in too bright fonts or too dark on a black background, like dark purple. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when the Anarchy of the Old Web. I know, right? Like, those are the days I miss. Like, I remember when I first joined MySpace, like, I mean, if you guys think that I'm kind of weird and strange now, like, you should have seen me when I was 17 and first got a MySpace. Like, oh my God, I don't even know where to begin. I had this very weird background, first of all, that I guarantee you no one else on that site had, and it would even, like, to even explain where that came from would probably take like half an hour. It was from the, I don't even know, the oddest of sources, I suppose. But I had that for a while. That was like my first background, and I don't know. I was obsessed with a lot of dark things back then, but not in the way that you might think. A lot of well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into it. You guys can ask me about it if you want to, but like, I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to begin in describing it. It's not so much paranormal things, although that was there. Not so much psychic things, although that was there. Not so much just spiritual things, although that was there. It was this weird conglomeration based on some stuff that I first found when listening to the Ghostly Talk paranormal talk radio show that I was listening to back then. I was going through the archives one by one. So, I don't know, maybe that's something we can talk about. You know, unless you guys, like, again, in the comments, and I'll give you my thoughts on it or whatever. We'll talk. In the meantime, one thing that we can talk about that's kind of interesting is the impressionability of most people when they're very young, including myself. That happened a long time ago. I'm gonna flip my phone over so it doesn't distract me. Like, when I was 16, I discovered a lot of information on the internet that, let's just say, I basically, in retrospect, kind of wish I'd never ever discovered. But I was so predisposed to adopting those kinds of beliefs, I suppose, those kinds of negative beliefs. And I do remember at the time questioning it, you know, like, I was still trying to think as clearly as I could about it, but I didn't have any contextual awareness yet of things, you know? And so I was far more impressionable at that age than I even realized that I was. Although I think on some level I also knew that I was and kind of just didn't care. And I think maybe whether I did this consciously or subconsciously, adopted some of these negative beliefs for purposes of I don't know, rebellion or defiance or whatever. I really don't know. Um, it's just unfortunate that it's almost like we can't escape the vibration of what we are so easily, if even at all. We have to, there's no getting away from being what you are, if that makes sense. And so if you want to like change your life, if you want to like be a better person, stuff like that has to be an authentic change. Like your vibration has to actually change. Like you have to actually be a changed person, or it's not going to work. Like you can't just do like changes on the surface or whatever and have it work out, basically. Anyway, so I guess this is only displaying that top chat. I should click live chat in case any messages don't get through. All right. So it tells me 4 people are watching right now. How are you guys? You don't have to type if you don't want to, but if you want to, how are you? Like, let's get a conversation going if you want. Otherwise, I'll just keep rambling on. Hey there, Sherry. How are you today? How are you tonight? Tonight. It is a late October night here. And we're just kind of talking about whatever, just seeing where the stream goes. I'm gonna check my phone. Fantastic, glad I caught another vid. I am glad too. I am so happy to have you here. I'm happy to have everyone here. We've talked about a few interesting things so far. We were talking a lot about movies earlier, like the different kinds of movies that we like, and also like how they look and sound on Blu-ray. We were talking about like old technology versus new technology. We were talking about, what else were we talking about? If I scroll up in the chat, like it'll come back to me. Or I mean, I can find out that way. I don't know, a few creepy paranormal things. I was just talking about a little bit ago the impressionability of young people, or well, not all young people, but it can happen. Do you know on my Ghost Radar Connect app, why are we blurry, actually knows the nicknames of kids and people and situations, good and bad, of the future, right? 100% accuracy, very strange. Oh wow, that is interesting. Huh. Well, I don't know if it's the same app that I have, but if you guys want, I can get out the Ghost Radar app, like either, I guess, on my phone or my tablet, and we can see if anything happens. How about that, huh? Does that sound interesting? Yeah, mine's just called Ghost Radar. What would you like to do as a career? What would I like to do as a career? That's a good question. Probably this, basically speaking. Probably if I could live stream and or entertain people and or educate people for a living, that would be my career, I think. Other than that, I don't really know. It knows the nicknames of the children I'm going to see in the future. We're blurry. See in the future nicknames of children and people. It actually knows my nickname system out for people. Ghost Radar knows the future. Well, I'm gonna pull it up on my phone, and we're gonna see if anything comes up. But yeah, I wonder at this point if my YouTube channel is going to take a different direction, because I've got to be honest with you guys. You know, so I'm one who always follows my highest excitement to the best of my ability, and like doing live streams as of late is infinitely more exciting to me than making videos. So I'm still going to make videos, at least sometimes, I think, but I'm going to live stream a lot more of the time. At least that's how I'm feeling about it right now. You know, if it continues to excite me in the way that it does, basically. All my phone does is strategically place ads based on what I've been Googling. Yeah, that happens to me too. I think that happens to pretty much everyone at this point. Very interactive with via live stream. Oh wow, I feel so honored. That is so cool. Yeah, I think I've interacted with 2 or 3 people in live streams before. And one of them much more than anyone else. Which I wonder if any of you guys can guess who it is. That would be cool. If anyone guesses it, I will. Oh right, Ghost Radar. Wait, where did it go? Ghost Radar. Like, I don't even know if this app is legit, but whatever. Wait, what? We recently added new videos on YouTube. Cool. Okay, whatever. A warning of a day in the future world. The cops came out to my house and there were parent complaints about me. False parent complaints. This took place in my future. Oh wow, that's weird. What were they like complaining about? Do you remember? Or like, did it say or whatever? Okay, I have it on now. So if you suddenly hear like a word spoken, that's my Ghost Radar app. As crazy as I guess where you were from, your name and your sign correctly the last time I was here for a chat before those questions had been asked. It was freaky. Oh wow, that is interesting. Are you like basically? Well, it just said Betsy. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe think that I am, but I think it's because see, like I've studied all this like spiritual stuff for so long, and then in the last couple of years, astrology and tarot for so long. I feel like it's rewired my brain to be much more open to psychic perceptions and stuff like that. And so, you know, it's not like I can just automatically know things or automatically like read anyone's mind or anything like that. Interesting. Like I can't, you know, just know anything and everything with it. But there's a lot of times where I can even I can like read people, or I know when something's going to happen, or I know when something has happened. Like I'll go to check my phone, I'll be like, oh yeah, there's going to be a notification from this person on there or this app or whatever. Well, usually, well, I don't know, but stuff like that basically. So I think it's from all the years really of you know, astrology and tarot and other spiritual practices that I've engaged in and familiar. Let's see. What's happening? We're blurry again. Okay. We were like not blurry for the longest time earlier. It'd be nice if it returned to that, but oh well. You seem to be innately observant and intuitive in general. I try to tap into that all the time. Why, thank you. Yeah, I would say that I am. Although when I was younger, I was way too logic based. I wasn't like maybe I was intuitive, but I didn't like rely on my intuition enough. But I'm talking like, you know, when I was like a lot younger. Like this changed around the time I was I don't know, 19 probably. Although it started to change probably when I was like 16 or even 15. Ghost Radar is your favorite app. That's cool. It is pretty fun and interesting. It drains the battery kind of fast, but you know, whatever. I don't really use my phone a whole lot anyway, so I've got battery to use, I guess, or to use up. What else was I going to say about that? I don't know if it actually works though, you know, like I don't know if spirits could actually communicate through it. Although I guess it is maybe theoretically possible because if it is true, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it probably is, that that ghosts or other entities can manipulate physical, electronic devices, physical electronic devices. Now I'm literally getting an ad. What the hell? Like if they can do that with various devices, then theoretically they'd be able to do it with a cell phone as well. Now I'm literally just getting like random ads basically from it, which is annoying, but whatever. Yeah, they go crazy with ads these days. I remember when this app like wasn't like this. The last word it said was shirt. I don't know why it's saying the word shirt. Else. Funny. Let's see maybe if I show this, that'll get rid of the blurriness. It was like a mirror image. Fascinating. Tree. What are the spirits trying to tell us? That's the real question. Now it says tree. What tree? I have a tree lamp behind me. Is that what?
Wolf.
Wolf. Is there like a dog man nearby? Is that what's happening? Wait, I feel like this camera is slightly off or something. Wait, was this like this before? Like, this is like mirror imaged. So I don't know. That's weird. I don't think this was like this before, but it is now. I don't know why. Huh, well, whatever. I believe it knows my future at 100% because the ghostly entities I believe are actually from the future, from the 2040s, 2064. Oh, that's interesting. People are leaving. I'm being too boring. People are leaving. So what makes you, hang on, let me try to fix this. What makes you believe that they are from the future, basically, and those specific dates? Like what led you to those conclusions? I just got the word enough. Interesting. I don't really know what to make of that, but okay, cool. Here we go again. So, how are you guys tonight? Do you have any other questions or comments for me? Let's see here. Just gonna check a few apps real quick. Do any of you watch Shane Dawson? Have you been keeping up with his latest series? It's pretty intense. Washing up for bed? Yes, that is a very important thing to do. Important to do those daily rituals. I really only have a ritual at the start of my day, where I get ready for the day and like brush my teeth and stuff like that. I don't really do much before I go to bed. Maybe that's bad. I don't know. Geez. I think I pay too much attention to the view counter. I'm like wanting to please everyone. Oh crap, that's what I wanted to ask earlier when more people were here. But I guess I could ask it now. Like, what would you guys, if you don't mind telling me, like, what would you like to see in live streams that I do? Like, do you have any ideas in particular of what you would like to see? Because I want to give people what they want. So I'm also really enjoying just coming on here and chatting about whatever. because the app I got goes to recognize programmable app from the years 2018 all the way to 2100. The entities are time travelers from the future. Oh, that's interesting. That's cool. Huh. Maybe I'll try that out at some point. I don't know. That's really interesting. Wait, what is my favorite, most dangerous fascination? Tweeting. Show this thread. It's 12 a.m. and I'm trying to sleep, but I'd rather be eating pasta, but I live in the middle of nowhere right now. Can't get delivery here. And cooking, who does that? Ugh, life is so hard. Maybe I'll take my private jet for a nice night ride to a local Italian restaurant. They're closed, but they'll open for me. And that is why I follow him. Let's see here. Don't want to run out of stuff to talk about. What kind of movies do you guys like? Let's talk about movies some more. That was some interesting stuff earlier. Pick a main topic or 2 or 3 to stick on. Of course, people will stray, but it might conversation. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, like much earlier in the stream, I think before you got here, but like I was saying, even though I enjoy just coming on here and talking about whatever, like I basically am right now, whenever I have an interesting idea, and also particularly when I have a good amount of energy to present it, I'm going to still have streams where I have like a main topic, a main idea to present. Kind of like last night we went over astrology, for example. And then the other day we were talking more specifically like about the paranormal and stuff like that. Like I'm still going to do streams like that, and I actually already have a number of different ideas. But I'm sort of waiting until the right time to do those streams until everything is in order for implementing them, I would say. I'm your favorite Christmas elf. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wonder how many Christmas elves there are in the world. Let's see here. The organized ones and the ones where everyone is just relaxing like this. Yeah, that's good. I hope that people generally, or at least like a pretty good amount of people, can enjoy both, because I enjoy both. Although I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't enjoying this one more right now than I would be if I was trying to stick to a specific topic right now, because I feel like I have to be in the right frame of mind for that. But let's see. I finished my drink. Speaking of energy, though, here's an interesting thing, or something you guys might find interesting that I'm not sure if I've talked much about before online, though I'm sure I have at some point. And it kind of goes along with what I was saying about like I'm going to do streams with specific ideas at specific times. Well, where do I start with this? I have these days that I call caffeine days, and I'm thinking of maybe tending to do more specifically focused streams on these caffeine days. And the way this works for me, what I mean by that, what I mean by caffeine day is, so I noticed a long time ago, many years ago, I was able to figure out that when you're using the drug caffeine, if you want it to work most effectively, it's best, generally speaking, at least this is the way it works with my body, it seems most people as well, it's best, generally speaking, to save it for when you really need it, or like don't like consume a lot of caffeine every day, just save it for specific days, because otherwise your body gains a tolerance to it and then it isn't as effective. And so what I came up with is this caffeine day system where, a wee bit blurry. I came up with this caffeine day system where, like, usually on, this is insane, usually on Saturdays and Wednesdays, I'm just gonna leave it for now, fuck it. On Saturdays and Wednesdays, I will let myself consume more caffeine so I can be more energized on those days. And then on other days, I won't let myself consume very much unless it's like a situation that is like one where I really need it. You know, if I have to be up early for something, I need extra energy or whatever. But this was all born out of years of my life before where I basically didn't have very much energy because I wasn't very healthy, and that's like a whole nother story. But I've, for the most part, conquered the health like issues or whatever. Maybe not 100%, but I still use this caffeine day system because I find it to be very useful. And like, so what I'm thinking is, since usually Wednesdays and Saturdays, sometimes other days, but usually those 2 days a week are when I allow myself to have more caffeine. Those days, I can perhaps, we'll see how it goes, but perhaps have more like specific ideas for streams that I do, be like more specifically focused. And maybe on non-caffeine days like this one, I will tend more towards just talking about whatever. So, like I said, I'm not completely sure yet. That's just kind of my theory so far, what I'm thinking might happen. But yeah, we'll see. I think I'm getting hungry. Let's see here. I consume caffeine constantly. It's not as bad as it used to be. At my worst, I was consuming 4 to 5 pots of coffee and 3 to 4 energy drinks as well. I spoiled myself 12 shots of my large coffee. Wow, that is a lot of caffeine. See, like if I try to do something like that, my body, because I know how it is, it just would not be having it. It would like shut down or something. I don't know what would happen. Like I can't get away with consuming more than basically the either 2 cups of coffee or the equivalent of that without feeling just way too, messed up. Like my body just won't have that basically. Let's see. Giving his customers too much espresso, and I was one of them. Cut down a lot since then, but still drinking 5 to 6 cups a day. I've been thinking of strategizing caffeine routine as well. Yeah, I find it to be really helpful. Like, even if you have like a high caffeine tolerance, like if you pick 1 or 2 days a week where you will allow yourself to consume pretty much as much caffeine as you want, although I would, of course, suggest don't go overboard. And then the rest of the time, you limit yourself. I find it to be very effective for being energized. Like, now, I mean, I guess tonight I am pushing my usual limits just a tiny bit by consuming this V8 energy drink, V8 Fusion energy drink. But you see, it only has 80 milligrams of caffeine, and the only other caffeine I've had so far today is green tea, which I had earlier, which I think has about 30, 35 milligrams. And so we're looking at 110, 115 at the most, I believe, today. And what constitutes a caffeine day for me is if I have usually like 150 to 160 milligrams or higher of caffeine, which is pretty much what you'll find. So I'm still like within my limit, basically speaking today. But if I had too much more, I wouldn't be. But sometimes I'll let myself be a little more lenient, like the night before a caffeine day. So like a Tuesday night or a Friday night, because I'm like so close to it that basically I find I can just get away with it. So I do that when I find it to be to my advantage. Addictive personality, I suppose. Caffeine, nicotine, nail biting. Yeah, that's understandable. I don't know if I have an addictive personality, but mm, I definitely have an all or nothing personality. Like that's for damn sure. Like, how can I describe this? If I get really focused on something and really excited about something, I will tend to stick with that thing like crazy, almost to the exclusion of all other things. And similarly, if I'm not excited about something, like good luck getting me to want to do it or talk about it much or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes the mind of like uh, an at times subdued and at times overly enthusiastic like kid or something, you know? Like I don't I feel like the programming of society doesn't really work on me that tries to get me to be more balanced or whatever. Like this goes right back to my astrology. Like I've got strong aspects to Pluto, which is the all or nothing planet, and rules Scorpio, and I have Pluto in Scorpio, as does anyone who's born around the time I was does. Like I've got the Sun conjunct Saturn in Capricorn in a harmonious sextile to Pluto in Scorpio. I've also got the Moon opposite, or my Moon opposite Pluto within a wide orb, and so basically speaking, that makes me a very much an all or nothing person, and I find it goes better for me if I work with that energy rather than trying to fight against it or like be something that I'm not. Like I said that I was going to post a while back, but never did. But it was like a typed out vlog. So I was like typing out what I was going to say and like read it as I do in vlogs occasionally, which is fairly obvious when I'm reading versus when I'm just talking about something. But what I said was, I am an extremely imbalanced person and I love it. So that's basically how I feel about that. I'm going to turn the heat down because it's getting really warm in here. And I have returned. Yeah, I'm getting kind of hungry. I might have to get off soon and go eat. But I don't know, maybe I could come back. But then again, everyone will probably be asleep by then. So I don't know yet. But we'll see. We'll see. Fascinated by astrology and like Sever, I was born and raised a skeptic, so I try to cautiously keep an open mind. What are your thoughts on the phenomena of astrology or of being skeptical and stuff like that? Wait, of people kind of self-fulfilling horoscopes, personality traits, etc. Kind of self-fulfilling horoscopes. Do you mean like someone reads like into the energy of like what they're supposed to be like what their sign is, and then it convinces them that they are that? I think that's what you're asking, and if so, well, since beliefs form reality, I think it's plausible that that at least has some effect. Although I've noticed in my own personal experience that the astrological chart of anyone that I look at basically always matches their personality perfectly, regardless of what they believe or how much they know about astrology. So either that's somehow filtered through my perception, like that it only seems true because I believe it to be true, or it basically is that astrology is quite valid and it works whether you believe in it or not. I don't know. I never want to say for sure that I know about something because there's always that possibility that it is my belief and I just don't realize it. But to the best of my knowledge, this is in our human physical terms and objective reality that I'm observing. That is the validity of astrology. So, to the best of my knowledge, that's how it works. I used to read a daily horoscope for years and felt as though it was always right. However, I'm not sure if the horoscopes themselves were just generally too vague or if I was just okay. Yeah, I can see there's more to that comment there that hasn't shown up yet, but let me just talk about that for a bit. Like daily horoscopes, that's a good subject that you bring up because, first of all, again, your beliefs form reality. That must always be borne in mind. So, regardless of what the astrological energy is right now, you always have the free will to use it in whatever way that you will and to believe whatever you will believe that will then determine how you use that energy. And second of all, the thing with daily horoscopes is that pretty much all the time, if not 100% of the time, all the time, they are only written for specific sun signs. They're just general readings, and there's going to theoretically, generally, be a degree of accuracy there, like an amount of accuracy. But the problem with that is that there's so many different astrological factors that have to be included if you're actually going to correctly forecast what the energy of any particular day or any given period of time will be like for any given individual, that to just look at their sun sign is like, well, I don't know. It's not really enough. Like it'll give you maybe an idea of some things that are going on. Like I won't deny it'll do that, but it's not giving you the full story. It's like looking at maybe 30% of the data and ignoring the other 70% because in order to simplify it enough to make a daily horoscope like that, that's what you have to do, essentially. So I don't know. I guess that's my perspective on it. Like you would need to have a person's astrological chart, and to correctly forecast a day, you would have to look at not only the current transits aspecting each other, but you'd have to look at like what the moon and other planetary bodies are aspecting in that person's natal chart. You'd have to look at what houses the transits, like the moon, the sun, and all the other planets, what houses they are in that person's chart, as well as what their natal houses are, basically. And you'd have to factor all this stuff together in order to get a truly accurate forecast for a day. Like this is what I do for myself personally and privately. I have a program on my computer that allows me to track all these different things, and all these different aspects, even like septiles and quintiles, which a lot of people don't use, but are interesting in and of themselves, and they provide useful information too. This is what I do for myself, and I find it to be very accurate. But see, the thing is, with that, if you're a person who has very negative beliefs, your day on any given day is going to be vastly different than a person with positive beliefs, because beliefs play such a huge factor here. And the astrology, it's like the weather, It's like if it's a rainy day outside, beliefs, and this is sort of an oversimplification, but you'll get the idea. If you have negative beliefs, you might be like, oh, this is terrible. It's a rainy day. It's going to ruin everything. But if you're more predisposed to positive beliefs, you might think, oh, it's raining. I can just take an umbrella, or isn't it nice that it cools things off or whatever? Like, there's any number of different perceptions or beliefs that you can have about a rainy day that will then determine how you experience that rainy day. But regardless, there's still going to be a rainy day. But I also want to flip that around and say there's going to be a rainy day, but you get to choose what your experience of that rainy day is by deciding what you believe and how you define that rainy day. And in this analogy, the rainy day is the astrological weather, is basically what I'm saying. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see. Or if I was just subconsciously trying to make the pieces add up to give meaning to the horoscope as well. I do believe most people are very true to their signs though most of the time. Yeah, that's basically what I was saying. Make the pieces add up to give meaning to the horoscope as well. Yeah, like that can play a potential factor. But I guess I've pretty much delineated that well enough. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm getting pretty hungry. But I think I'll stay on for just a little bit longer. And we're blurry. I don't always know if I can trust the view counter because it doesn't always seem to match what's actually happening. All right, so does anyone have any other questions or comments? Because I don't want to get off, but I'm probably going to have to soon to eat. I absolutely agree with mind over matter. You manifest what you think and feel, and getting to choose your own experiences. Do you have any notable people or books or research regarding it? I highly recommend Abraham Hicks, especially their book Asking is Given if you want really simple stuff. I highly recommend the Seth books, particularly Seth Speaks and The Nature of Personal Reality. Those are by Jane Roberts, and that's much more like intellectual stuff. I recommend Bashar, who you can find here on YouTube. Let's see, who else? I would say those are probably the ones that I have learned the most from. I found them to be the most valuable, and probably Seth. Well, I don't know. The other two have been really helpful too. So I don't know, but Seth would be my number one favorite spiritual teacher at this point. At least, well, when it comes to everything, but those three in particular, when it comes to learning how your beliefs form reality and your thoughts create reality and stuff like that. Personally, love the research where plants serve water are treated differently and how they react to water droplets show different motion under a microscope. Yeah, that's some fascinating stuff. I've heard of that. Like those experiments with the Japanese scientist, I forget his name, but basically showed that water will actually change its structure or whatever under a microscope based on the vibrations it's exposed to. Like if it's exposed to a vibration of love versus hate, and he would even like write the words and it would change the structure of the water or whatever. Or I don't know if this is molecular structure or what it is, but it would literally change the water to like being much more harmonious and well, how do I even put this? I mean, I know that you know, but I'm saying for like other people who might be watching who might not know, the structure or whatever would change to a very beautiful and harmonious looking structure with positive words like love and appreciation and stuff like that. And it would change to something very chaotic with words like hate and fear and stuff like that. So very fascinating stuff there, especially when you consider that the human body is mostly water, has been scientifically proven. I wonder if Google can help us out with that. Let's find out. Okay, Google. Water.
This is a summary from USGS. Jeffrey Utz, Neuroscience, Pediatrics, Allegheny University. Different people have different percentages of their bodies made up of water. Babies have the most, being born at about 78%. That amount drops to about 65%.
Well, there you go. 78% drops to about 65%, and even 65% is still a lot. So that's a huge subject, though, because I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if I should get into it right now because kind of needing to go eat. Yeah. All right, guys. Like, this has been a lot of fun, and I don't want to get off, but I think I'm gonna have to get off and go eat because I'm getting really hungry. See there, I stabilized the blurriness. So thank you all for watching. It's been great. This has been a lot of fun. Maybe I'll come back after I'm done eating on the off chance that there's some people still up and online. I'll have to use some messages on Instagram and check them out. Okay, yeah, I'll have to try to do that. I am like never active on my Instagram DMs, I have to say, or like hardly ever. So like I'll try to. It's just like I'm almost never in them because quite frankly on my one Instagram I never know what I'm going to see in them, and I'm like, I don't know, do I really want to open these? Like, you know, no offense to anyone or whatever, it's always that, you know, the one or two like crazy people that sort of spoil the fun when it comes to such things. But yeah, I have two Instagrams actually. Like the main, well, I don't really use either of them that much, but the main one that I would use now is that I would, I guess, call my personal one is poetic_heretic. And then my, like, I don't know, one that's devoted to my YouTube channel or whatever is just poetic heretic. Like the underscore is my personal one, and the all one word is my one for my YouTube channel, I guess. So with that said, thanks for watching, you guys. I love you too. I love you all. It has been delightful having you here. And thanks, Sherry. You have a good night as well. And I'll see you guys hopefully again soon. Thanks so much for watching.